Hi there and welcome to anybody who's logged on to the website or anybody on YouTube who's flying around. As many of you will be aware, we've started to sell tents from Terra Nova and in addition Terra Nova Wild Country. But what I want to do this time around is introduce to you, you want to pan down here Wiggy, is the Superlite Voyager. Now many of you will be familiar with the classic Voyager, however Terra Nova, and this is a Terra Nova tent, have actually managed to increase the length and the height of the tent, but still keep the weight down. In fact, it's a third of the weight of the classic Voyager. It's a 3-season tent, 2-man tent or a 1-man luxurious tent, and obviously we're bearing in mind that it's 1.5 kilograms. I would suggest that possibly those who like that little bit of luxury would be prepared to carry that little extra weight to accommodate both themselves and their equipment. The tent itself is a semi-geodesic design which has been proven to be the most stable design in bad weather, and although this tent will put up with some really bad weather, it is a 3-season tent, so probably not worth taking out in Scotland in the middle of winter when it's throwing on a storm. The actual tent itself comes with titanium tent pegs, but for this demonstration what we've done is just put out some plastic tent pegs so that you can see where it's been basically pegged out. Other things to note, well, as I said before, what we'll do now is we're going to have a quick look inside. There's only a 1-zip entry into the tent, which is this one here, Wiggy, so if you want to pan down. These flaps roll back and are secured by a little bit of elastic and a toggle. So if the weather is good enough, then obviously it goes without saying that you can actually have these out of the way and not be flapping around. So I'll just take these back and then I'll invite you to have a little look inside. Let's peg that back there. Right, so here we go, here's the inner tent. It's an incredibly lightweight tent, and surprisingly inside there's oodles of volume for you and your gear. So if I just demonstrate by getting in here, so I'm basically around about 5'10", 5'11", plenty of space here for somebody to one side of me and myself on this side. The only thing I would say is that if you've got your equipment with you, obviously you're going to bring into the tent the necessities, but the rest of the gear is going to stay basically outside in your rucksacks or bergens. So there you go, that's the Superlite. I'll just make my way out. That's a Superlite Voyager from Terra Nova. Incredibly light, incredibly comfortable, yeah, and I think basically at the end of the day well worth a purchase. Just one final thing to note, it only has 3 poles in construction, yeah. The price of the tent is £314.99, 315 in layman's terms. But as a tent, well, to be honest with you, we think that £315 is well worth its money. Thanks very much indeed for watching. When I'm on the bloody camera, come over here and give us a